like to call to order this meeting of the June 5th, 2024 Board of Zoning Adjustment for the City of Auburn, Alabama.
Will Faulkner,
Here.
Charles Rollins,
Here.
Emmy Sorrells, Leticia Smith,
Here.
Marty Heffron,
Here.
Mary Boyd,
Here.
Dan Berry Jr.,
Here.
Okay, our first order of business is to approve the minutes from the last meeting on May 1st.
Motion to approve the minutes from May 1st meeting.
Second.
Will Faulkner,
Yes.
Charles Rollins,
Yes.
Leticia Smith,
Yes.
Marty Heffron,
Yes.
Mary Boyd.
Yes.
Okay, that motion passed, and then the next order of business is for me to read the opening remarks. Any persons aggrieved by any decision of the board may within 15 days after such decision appeal to the circuit court having jurisdiction according to section 908.02 of the zoning ordinance of the City of Auburn, Alabama. And now we move on to new business, and we've got one item, a variance to a performance standard for residential uses by district.
Good evening, board members. That is correct. Our item this evening is a variance to the 3-acre minimum lot size requirement in the rural zone. This is a property located at 250 and 254 Lee Road 18 in the rural zoning district. So the text for the variance from the zoning ordinance is from table 4-2, our performance standards for residential uses by district table, and states that the density is 1 dwelling unit every 3 acres, given that there's a 3-acre minimum lot size. And the subject property, again, is located at 250 and 254 Lee Road 18. It is in the southernmost part of the city, surrounded by a lot of unincorporated land in Lee County. South College is right here, where it's actually US 29. The applicant is wishing a variance to subdivide the property. There are 2 nonconformities on the lot currently, one being that it's already under the 3-acre minimum for the zone. It was annexed in 2016. As it is configured now, and upon annexation, it received the rural zoning designation. So it is a legal nonconformity. Nothing wrong about that. There's also a legally nonconforming use because there's 2 detached dwelling units on the property, making it technically a multi-unit lot. And so the applicant wishes to subdivide the property to have 2 separate lots of record for each dwelling unit. In our staff report, we cited that there are a number of properties in our city with legal nonconformities. However, the overall goal of the ordinance is to gradually reduce nonconformities with our ordinance. And this would be a increase to the existing nonconformity. I'm happy to answer any questions, but other than that, that's all I had.
Do we know her reason for wanting to subdivide the lots?
Yes, so I believe it's a family property, and she resides in one of the houses and wishes to subdivide so that she can, I'm not exactly sure if she intends to sell.
Yeah, I can answer it. Yeah, so there was initial intentions to make improvements to one of the houses on one of the lots, but in order to do that, they needed to finance it and take out a loan. And so then with 2 lots or 2 houses on the one lot, they wanted to subdivide so that way the bank could have something to finance it for.
And you said that the goal is to reduce the number of nonconformities, but I just wanted to ask if I'm getting this right. if we did approve it and you divided the lot, then there would be one house on each lot, which would,
It would make there are two non-conforming lots now, is what would happen.
two non-conforming lots instead of one lot with two non-conforming.
If you want to look at it that
tenants.
way, yes, there would be, and so instead of one lot with two nonconformities, be it the lot of record and the use, there would now be two nonconforming lots of record.
Based on size.
Correct.
Are they both inhabitable dwellings? Do we know what's
They
on
are
it?
occupied.
They are
They're
both occupied. Okay.
So they're only dividing it so they can get a loan from the bank.
Yeah. And so that was kind of when I talked with the surveyor. That was the story. It was a lot of try other things, and then they're just kind of working to subdivide. That way they can get a loan from the bank.
I'm not following. Can you explain that maybe one more time?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and I was going to add, this
Okay.
is kind of a two-part
Okay.
process here. This is part one, the zoning ordinance. They still have to get approval for a subdivision, which I do not believe we've even seen a plat, so we don't even know if they could legally subdivide, even if they get this variance. Justice, I don't know if have you seen a plat?
No, so I guess kind of what's in front of you here, it's just kind of like the survey, and so we then had a conversation just kind of with staff. They kind of called in, kind of talked about some things, but like I said, I mean, so the origin of this is that they initially wanted to do a family subdivision. They initially wanted to condo this out, and so those things won't work. But they were just trying to get financing to make improvements to one of the houses. And so this is just strictly for financing. And then I guess just kind of on the subdivision side, there's still a lot of conflicts with the subdivision ordinance, with subdivision regulations. And I guess we can get to that kind of after we have like the public hearing on this. I can talk a little more about that.
Okay. So at this time, I'll open the public hearing. If there's anyone here who would like to speak for or against or has comments about this item. The applicant here.
She is not.
Seeing there are no comments from the public, I will close the public hearing and open it to the board for board discussion.
And so I guess I do want to stress. So I know like kind of like in yesterday there was like error confusion, just kind of if we were actually going to have the meeting, and so that just stems from the applicant did. I had a conversation with him, and we talked about how subdivisions don't really kind of belong under the purview of the BZA, and then just kind of how this really should reside with the planning commission. And so they were like, well, I'd like to table it. And so, but the email they sent was just kind of more along the lines of withdrawal. And so then I asked for like kind of clarification on it. So he was like, no, I guess I'd kind of like to table it. That way we can kind of have, just kind of the last ditch effort if we need it, to table it. But I think in my mind, like my opinion is not going to change. Just kind of if y'all were to decide, if y'all were to table it, I don't think this kind of belongs under the purview of the BZA. And so one of the things that we're currently working on is changing the subregs to all subdivision waivers kind of going forward, lot minimums, sizes, all those things. You would have to go to the planning commission and not come to the BZA because of it. And so
That would make sense.
yeah, and so that's where we're at. And so that was a conversation that we had. And so like I said, so his request was just kind of to table it that way they can maintain a latches effort. And like I said, staff's opinion isn't going to change kind of in between there. Their staff's opinion isn't going to change in between.
I mean, I read in the report that her desire is to have clear title in the home, which as a realtor, I completely understand that, and that makes sense. Have they not explored like a deeded easement or like anything like that?
No, he didn't. He didn't get into that. I guess kind of part of this, and I think kind of how this has happened. If they weren't in the city, like this would not be an issue.
Right.
But they annexed into the city so someone could attend school, but this is just this is the result of that.
Right.
And so now with current annexations, if you do annex into the city, you have to sign something that says like you understand that like if you annex into the city in rural with a lot that's less than 3 acres, that you cannot further subdivide. And so this is, I mean, like I
That
said.
came after they did this, after they were annexed.
Yeah,
in
and so
2016.
that's not something that I found attached to the staff report, but that would have been communicated just because like the minimum lot size was there. And so I mean, it's standard. There are plenty of things that we have written down that we communicate to people that then they kind of come back in and ask, and so that's why that was introduced. Signing for people to acknowledge in writing that you cannot come back and ask for something to be subdivided out in rule. So no, so that is not one of the options that they explored when I talked with the surveyor.
So just for clarification, so they are aware that they aren't supposed to be further subdividing, and so the premise is, let's go to the BZA, see if we can get permission to that, and then get the, just in case.
Yeah.
I would add, they would still have to meet all the requirements of the
Point taken.
subdivision regulations, which we're not even sure if they can
I got you.
anyway.
Yeah, and I guess kind of on that, with this kind of been out of the county, I imagine there might be an existing sewer system that does serve both houses. But once again, I mean, that's not something that currently, like if this were to be brought into us, this is not something we would approve
I got you.
from this existing setup. So yeah, that's just kind of where we're at. And so then I guess also when they did request that it be tabled, I did make it very clear to them that the BZA can make it BZA can decide to act on it. Like y'all can either approve it or deny it, or you could table it. But I was like, that's why I think you should withdraw it. But they opted to have the meeting so it could be tabled. And I was like, well, they don't have to table it. So up to you to decide to do. But they did request that it be tabled.
Okay.
Thoughts?
So for clarification, the family requested that it be tabled. And what we're here to say is we can not table it and go ahead and make a decision and go ahead and solve it, or what is our role to, if they say table it, the meeting is adjourned. I'm confused. As
You don't
to
have
what
to
the
table it.
process is.
Yeah,
They
you can do
decided
whatever
to
you
go
want.
forward.
Yeah.
I
They
thought
decided
I
to have
thought
the
he said
meeting.
okay.
Yeah.
So we're
Okay, I
Yeah,
thought you
yeah.
were saying
Wanted
that.
it tabled, and then 15 minutes later.
I thought I
according
heard
to your
something differently.
email.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's what I thought.
So
Okay.
all right, so to just provide clarity, the email read as a withdrawal,
Right.
which would have canceled the meeting.
Yes.
And then when I called and I was like, hey, do you want to withdraw this or do you want to table it? Difference is if you withdraw it, we cancel the meeting. If we
Gotcha.
table it, we have the meeting. But if you choose to table it or ask to table it, they do not have to table it.
Point taken.
Y'all
Okay.
can decide to act on it, deny it, and then just move on.
Okay.
So
Perfect. I got it.
Just if I could add, rather than tabling, if that were to be an option, we recommend that you choose to
yeah, table it
postpone to a date certain.
Postpone till what?
Postpone to the next meeting,
Oh,
a
okay.
date certain.
Yep.
If you table something, then someone have to bring it back up off the table.
I got your point taken. Okay.
And they have not gone any further with planning. They've just had the preliminary with the city. So like, there's a very good chance if we approve this thing, it's not really gonna make a difference anyway. They still have to go through the subdivision.
Yeah, no. So there's the lot minimum size like in rule. Then there's also just kind of the determination of like what the existing acceptance system, the septic system is, and then like I said, there's still other conflicts like within the subdivision regs.
Right, okay. I mean, I understand clear title, but I think they're gonna have to look for other ways to solve this.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, it doesn't meet all the requirements. So even if, I mean, my only thinking was that it wouldn't be against the zoning ordinance, intent to reduce if you technically looked at it as, we're ending up with the same number, but that doesn't really address the whole issue of the subdivision. I mean, I drove out there and it's like, I can see why people would have a problem with it. Not people in the area, I don't know how they feel, but from a city planning perspective, it's not anywhere near what it needs to be.
well,
To
and it
meet
shows the
those.
annex at 1.2, so they
Yeah, I mean, and so did they you said that you couldn't see a written document because that didn't exist yet.
Yeah, no, it didn't exist yet, but yeah, so they requested annexation in 2016.
That's not ancient times.
Nope.
I mean,
I mean, it's the last decade.
yeah, so it would have been clear what yeah, okay. Well, I make a motion to deny this request.
Second.
Will Faulkner,
Yes.
Frost Rollins,
Yes.
Amy Sorrells,
Yes.
Leticia Smith,
Yes.
Marty Heffron.
Yes.
Okay, so that would mean that this item, BZ 2024-004, that variance request is denied.
Right.
Any other items or any other things we need to discuss?
You'll see an email from me probably tomorrow, just for training for the entire board. So we recently had training for the chair and the vice chair. So we'll have training for the entire board. So it'll probably be like a email with a meeting poll and then try to like set some times up. So I don't know if we'll go 2 groups or if we'll go 1 group. Just trying to make something work. But y'all see email from me tomorrow with that. So probably sometime June, July, just kind of depending on just kind of what we can work for schedules.
And we had an excellent meeting. It was great. I mean, bring all your questions, because there's a lot of nuance sometimes. And, yeah.
Can I vote for
Work it all out.
not June, please? Like, once you told me it was canceled, it went off my calendar, and I was like, oh crap, I'm supposed to be here, so that's why I'm late. I apologize. But if we can maybe not do June, that would be
All right.
great for Amy.
All right.
But if it's good for everybody else, I'll make it work. I'm just saying.
And the timing, we met for about an hour
90
and a half.
minutes.
Will we,
Yeah,
same
yeah.
amount of time?
Yeah, about 90 minutes, 2 hours.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Last time that they had us to like a 4-hour meeting.
No, that was
That
to
was a
go
different
over,
session.
like, the whole CAPSO, everything. We're
Yes.
not doing that.
Okay, thank God.
Brown.
Never mind. That's
Yeah.
what I thought.
Yeah, no. This is just strictly procedural questions, any questions that y'all may have,
Good thing.
reasoning,
Okay, I
all that stuff.
apologize.
So
I thought it was
yeah,
all
we should be
myself.
solid.
Please don't make me go through that again.
And one other clarifying question. So in our email exchange for the meeting for July, I think we said it was July 10th, but the calendar still showed July 3rd. So I just wanted to get clarification.
July 10th.
July 10th, okay.
July 10th. If we have a BZA meeting.
If
we have one.
anything, right.
Okay.
I would like to, we do have a new planner, and I'd just like
Oh,
to introduce
yeah,
him.
I saw
This
it.
is Arendam.
Oh.
Hi,
Yeah.
nice to meet you. I'm Arindam and I'm from eastern part of India. I studied masters at Iowa State and I'm doing my PhD from University of Cincinnati. And my focus is on children-friendly neighborhoods and I wish to work on it in the future.
Like, what was your name
Fantastic.
again?
Welcome.
Arindam Roy.
Okay.
You can
Ari?
call me Arindam, you can call me Roy, both words.
Okay.
All right, I'm Roy.
Nice to meet you, Roy.
Nice to meet
Welcome
you.
to Auburn.
Thank you.
Nice
Yes,
to meet
welcome.
you.
So
Okay.
I've been here for some time. My wife is a professor at Auburn University
Okay.
in planning. So,
Oh, who's your
wow.
wife?
Kept it in the family then,
yeah,
yes.
yeah.
Who's your wife?
Benita
Okay,
Mahato.
yeah,
Okay.
Well-
You know her?
yeah, uh-huh.
Oh, okay.
I mean,
Oh.
I graduated from that program, so,
Oh,
could-
all right. Okay.
and so did
Nice to-
lots of people who. Nice to meet you.
nice to meet you.
Okay,
But yeah.
well, I will close this meeting, and we are adjourned.